Woke up to the sound of a digital chime. A voice called out from somewhere in time. Kevin's words weave like an old-time friend. Podcast tales that never seem to end. Coffee curls its steam up through the air. Mornings like these without a care. Stories blend with the percolating brew. Kevin's musing's always something new. Morning brew with Kevin on the line. Sipping slow and losing track of time. The world unfolds in our little ear. Podcast wisdom crystal clear. He speaks of dreams and faded lace, of city lights and a quiet place. Faces through the earbuds, vivid scenes, life's tapestry through encrypted memes. Kevin's voice, it's a morning hymn. Sunrise sermons on a whim. In the silence of our crowded minds, his tales like ancient hidden signs. The first cup's gone, but the stories flow. Caffeine buzz in the early glow. Listeners caught in a reverie. Morning magic through the frequency.
Hey everybody, welcome back to an all-new episode of Morning Coffee with Kevin. I'm your host, Kevin Peterson. Wow, I don't even know what to say, folks. It has been over 2 months now since we've released the last podcast, and I kind of want to revisit that last podcast, and I want to talk to you about just some of the things that we went over in that podcast. And a lot of it had to do with me cutting back on the amount of podcasts that I'm going to be putting out. And, I'm going to continue to try and release an episode once a week, but I'm not going to promise that. It may be once every 2 weeks. It may be just once a month. I think it's really going to just depend on how I'm feeling and what's going on with me. And some of what has led me to want to do this is the fact that we moved the podcast from our initial podcast host, and we moved over to YouTube, and we are just not having really good luck over on YouTube. Our subscribers have not followed us over to YouTube, and we just have a very minimal amount of listeners, and it's a lot of work that I put into this podcast. It's a lot of work putting the show together, and I just don't know if people really understand how much work it really is. But anyways, I'm not here to complain. We are going to move the podcast back to its original podcast host, which was Buzzsprout. I probably never should have left there. I probably should have just stayed there and moved to YouTube and had the podcast on both sites. But I chose to leave Buzzsprout, and now I'm kind of regretting that, and I think I'm going to go back and hopefully rebuild the podcast again because, I had quite a few listeners over there. But anyways, that's part of the reason why we're going to cut back. And the other part really has to do with why we haven't done a podcast in the last couple months. Now, most of you know that I don't normally talk about my personal issues, my personal life on the podcast too often. So, with that being said, I took off the entire summer. And by the way, I hope everybody had a wonderful summer. I hope everybody got rested and relaxed and was able to do some fun things before having to return to work. Myself, I had mentioned in previous podcasts that I had been ill. And I took the summer off basically to have surgery and to recuperate from the surgery and to just kind of get an idea on where life is taking me from this point on. Now, I'm not going to go into great detail about this, but I am going to share with my listeners, and some of you may have been through this. Some of you, I hope to God, have not had to go through this. So some of you may understand where I'm coming from. Others may not. But back in November, a year ago, I was diagnosed with cancer. And it's been a rough road. It's taken its toll on me. Mentally, I am a different person today than I was a few months ago. Having the surgery, going through all of this has changed me. And I have really decided that there are more important things in life than just working. Don't get me wrong. I love doing the podcast. I love running my record company. I love running my film production company, and I would not be happy if I could not do that. I love doing these things. I love being creative. I love doing the podcast because I love coming to you once a week or whenever and talking with you and bringing you up to date on what's going on with my record label, my film production company, what's going on at the podcast. And now I've really kind of opened up and kind of just let you in on my little secret that I've been keeping from everybody for well over a year now. So I have decided that I want to spend the most amount of my time with my son. My son is, he's young. He needs me. And that is really the most important thing in my life right now. And I don't believe that I could keep going without him. So it's very important to me that I start spending time doing the things that I love doing, and that is being with my son, riding my Harley Davidson, and working on creative projects, whether it be in the studio, out in the field shooting film, whether it be in my game room working on my model train set. And yes, people still build model train sets. And matter of fact, I'm into it pretty heavily. It costs a lot of money, so therefore I don't work on it as often as I would like to. But I want to start enjoying the fruits of my labor and all of the effort and time that me and my son have put into this model train set. So my life is definitely going to change. The frequency of the podcast are definitely going to change. Like I said, I am going to continue to try to put out an episode every week on Monday, like I always have. And we're just going to kind of see how things go. And if I feel up to it and I've got information to share with you, then I'm going to put out a podcast. If I feel that I don't have enough information, or maybe I decide I just want to sit and watch a movie and have a cup of coffee and hang out with my son, then that's what I'm going to do. So enough of me. It's been rough. I'm getting through this. I'm healthy. Thank God I'm healthy. And I'm going to continue to get stronger, and I'm going to continue to just staying healthy. So I look forward to the future, a nice long future ahead of me. And I will bring you new episodes as I'm able to do so. And I hope my listeners will not get bored. I hope that you continue to listen and just hang in there, because we do have a lot of good stuff coming up. So over the last few months, other than getting sick and having surgery, a good friend of mine put together new intro music for us. Now, he's kind of modest, he's asked that I don't mention his name, but he wrote the intro, he performed it, and I thought that was a wonderful gesture, and that's going to be our new intro music from here on out. So, over the last couple months, I have been very busy, obviously with doctor's appointments and surgery and everything, but I've made time to make music and to do some painting and to work on some other projects here at the studio. We've signed a couple new artists who I'm going to be talking about in upcoming episodes. My record, which I have mentioned to you for so long now, you people probably think it'll never come out. Well, it's finally going to. We finally got through the legal issues that was holding that back. Not only do we have my band, the Kevin Peterson Band's first CD going to be released, but we are currently working on a second CD. So I'm very excited about that. We also had some issues with a band that I was affiliated with, not so much anymore. I'm still producing, I'm still working with them, but not on the level I was before, and that is Electro Lounge. And the very first album that we put out was called Kevin Peterson's Electro Lounge, and it was the soundtrack, the music from a movie called The Trip. And by the way, I wrote the screenplay for The Trip. I directed it, and it's an awesome movie, and we are still in the process of getting that film out to the public, but we had some issues with the soundtrack that we had to go back and correct, and now that is going to be available to the public also. Not to mention, we have the Sounds of Nature series, and which are nature recordings. Those are going to be released here on the label, Manila Dawn Records. That's going to be released really soon. So I'm very excited about all the good stuff coming up. I'm going to have a lot of freebies. We're going to have some CD release parties. We just got a lot going on. And I know I need to probably take it easy as much as possible, considering that I just, went through everything that I went through. But I think it's therapeutic for me to stay busy, to work on the podcast, to work on films, to work on album projects, to just do this stuff. I think it's very therapeutic for me, and I think it's something that I need to do. So that's what I'm going to do. But in moderation, because I do need to kind of take it easy until I'm feeling better. So, getting back, and I know I'm kind of all over the place today, and I apologize for that, but again, I haven't been in front of the mic in 2 months. Just, give me a couple weeks and I'll get used to it again. One of the things that I want to get back to that I spoke about earlier is the YouTube channel for the podcast. Like I said, it really has not been doing well. I have a lot of listeners, but I don't have a lot of subscribers. So please, everybody, please subscribe. If you listen to the podcast, give the individual episodes a thumbs up, give it a thumbs down. Please comment on the individual podcast what your thoughts are. We can interact in conversation through there too. So please, if you've got something to say, or if you just want to do something simple like a thumbs up or a thumbs down, that's fine too. But please, people, please subscribe to the podcast. Get notified when something new's coming out. Get notified when we have a new playlist go up or whatever it may be. It really helps me to build the podcast, and it helps YouTube to know where to place our podcast so that people will find it and so people will listen. And like I said, it is a lot of work. And I if I'm going to continue to keep doing this, I'm going to have to bring up my numbers on the YouTube channel. Either that, or we're probably going to discontinue the podcast on YouTube. And I really hate to do that because I've put so much time and effort into it. So really, other than that, I don't have a whole lot for you today. Probably in the next episode, we will be talking about some of the releases that I just mentioned that'll be coming up. My band is actually going to be on the show, and it's going to be a little difficult being that, I'm sitting in front of the mic doing the show, but we're going to get somebody to sit in for me. And my band, the Kevin Peterson Band, we have our debut album coming out, Electric Nightmares. It's coming out on the Manila Dawn Records label. It's going to be available on all the streaming sites. It's going to be available for download. It's going to be available on compact disc. And it's going to be available on 180-gram vinyl. So I'm really looking forward to this release. And I want to see how things go. Like I said, we're working on a second album. And I've got so many other albums that I'm working on in the studio right now. And so I will be talking about all these in the very near future. But again, we will be talking about my release. My band will be on the podcast. We're going to play a couple songs for you from this debut release and just kind of give you kind of a sneak peek before the rest of the world gets to hear it, and, kind of give you an idea of what you think of it. And then if you want to pre-order before it's, available to the public, you can also do that by going to, you can go to maniladawnrecords@gmail.com, and you can just send me a message and say, hey, Kevin, please contact me. I'd like to pre-order. We'll put your name down, and and we'll set a copy or two aside for you. But anyways, folks, like I said, I am still recuperating from my surgery, and I am feeling much better, but I still have a little discomfort, and things are getting better daily. And most importantly, folks, I don't know if I could have been this strong and dealt with this on my own. And I don't like to bring politics or religion really into the podcast, but I really don't believe that I could have been as strong and dealt with this in the manner that I did if I didn't have Jesus Christ in my life. And I'm just forever grateful that he loves me. I'm forever grateful that he gave me the opportunity to wake up this morning. And I'm not going to preach to you on how you should run your life, but I will say that your life would be much happier and much more enjoyable if you had Jesus Christ in your life. That's all I'm going to say. Like I said, my thought process has really changed since going through this ordeal. And I know where I stand, and I hope you know where you stand, because someday we're all going to answer for everything we've done in life. Okay, enough said. I love all of you. I appreciate you tuning in. I appreciate your support. I would appreciate you just a little tiny bit more if you would subscribe to our YouTube channel. Be good to yourselves. Be good to a neighbor. Be good to a stranger. I'll see you in the upcoming episode, and I'm pretty sure we're going to have another one available next Monday for you without any issues. But I will see you then. Until then, enjoy a hot cup of coffee, relax, take a deep breath, love yourself, love your family. We'll see you next week. You're listening to Morning Coffee with Kevin, and I'll be signing out.